back to my channel, and I hope you're doing well. Today I'm in the darkroom and I've got a negative set up from my trip to Muscat in early December. It's been a little while to tackle these negatives. I'm pretty excited to get started. I've got one negative set up for today, and this is from the old CBD area in the district of Rui, I believe, in Muscat. So everything's set up. I got a 1.5 grade filter, thinking that might work because, again, sunny day and a lot of white. So I don't want the whites to burn out and the blacks to sort of slowly build. And that's kind of it. I'm focused, I'm ready to go. Got my paper ready, do some test prints. Thinking 4-second intervals might be a good place to start, and we'll go from there, see what happens. Quick look at the first test print, and I can already see far too many dust spots. So I've already gone back and cleaned the glass and the negative. The image I'm trying to make, this one, there's no space for a dust spot to hide, which happens sometimes, you know, it gets lost inside the rest of the image. This one is white wall with sky and the tower, and every spot that is on the negative is going to show because there's nowhere for the spots to hide. But that being said, I've chased the spots down, hopefully enough. You know, at the end of the day, this is just for me and for the fun of it. So if there's a spot here or there in the end, maybe it won't be such a big deal. But I am looking at the time, and I've got 4 seconds, 8 seconds, 12 seconds. I think 12 might be a bit too far when it comes to the highlights down here in the tower part. And 8 seconds leaves the sky a little bit off color. So I'm gonna do one more test, and I'm gonna split the tower, so half-half. And I'm thinking 10 seconds for one side, and we'll do a full 12 seconds for the other side, just to see how the rest of this side comes out compared to this side. The sun's coming from over here, so I want to make sure I balance where that sun is hitting, especially in the white part of the tower and that lower building. And hopefully there's no more dust spots on my negative. Let's see if I was lucky. Little closer look, and 12 seconds is too much. On the shaded side of the tower, it's just getting too dark and it's not really balancing the way I'd want, and a little bit of overexposure in the highlights. The 10-second side is looking better balanced, especially in the whites, having this really nice sort of uniform textured lightish gray. And you can see the tower on one side too much. And in here, we're getting just about right. I almost had the half mark. So this little spot right here is actually closer to 9 seconds, which is telling me that maybe just that little sliver is where I want to be. 8 is probably going to be a bit too light. 9 might just be exactly what I want. 1 second difference. How much am I going to see? I'm not sure, but I think at this point we're in the right zone. Now we're just debating a second, basically, in my head, or even half a second. So let's do a full test print at 9 seconds. And I'm more interested to see at 9 seconds what's happening on the shaded side of the tower. And we can deal with anything that needs to be done to balance that out once I know the information that I need. So let's go 9 seconds. Don't overthink it, Steve, right? Just do it and see what happens. After doing the 9-second test print, I sort of looked at it and thought to myself, there might be some more room to grow the image. So I did a 10-second test print, and the difference is marginal. There's not much going on between the two. I was really looking at the sunny side of the tower and trying to determine if there's a way to get a bit more detail through there while still not affecting too much of the shadow. Now the shadow really hasn't been affected that much, and the difference is adding a bit more depth to the image. So not too much of a complaint, but I would like to see a bit more in the tower itself. But I know that 1 second difference isn't really doing a whole lot in terms of going out of balance. I think it's time for a full-size print. And I'm going to push 10.5, maybe 10.6. I go by 2s, not on my timer. So I'll do 10.6. I'm using the Kentmere Fine Luster paper, and there is a slight difference in the behavior under light. So I think 10.6 is a safe place to start for the first full print. The first image we went with was the 10.6 seconds, and it's a fair image, came out well, but it's definitely not built enough. The whites down here are just slightly washed out and missing some detail. The sky is looking all right. The shadows could use a bit more as well. I like the image, but it doesn't feel balanced enough. From there, I went to 12 seconds to see how much I could build in the image. And there's a definite difference in the whites down at the bottom. We're getting some texture in there, and it definitely is balancing the image a bit better. The shadows in the tower have built up, and the sky is looking pretty good. I like the image. It's got a good space. One part I noticed was in this corner down here. It's a bit washed out, and again, that's just because of sun. So instead of doing burning and getting into a lot of other details for a day, I just want to have some fun. I decided to do another print. the final image that I went with is at 14 seconds. The 14 seconds definitely made a difference down in this corner. The shadow right here is built up a bit more, as well as the wall of the building right here. Now just is fuller, as well as this bottom corner. I do have some unbalanced parts here in the sky, which I could burn and play around with, but honestly, no, not today. I'm just gonna go ahead and just take what I have. The center part of the column has a slight bit of more development with some elements that you can see between the 12-second. The shadows are getting just a touch heavy, but the comparative visual weight from one side on the sunny side and the other side in the shadow, I think adds a bit of a dynamic to the center of the image, sort of splitting one side from the other. So that is it. 14 seconds. I'll take it. I like it. It's good enough for me. I'm happy. And that's the only reason I'm in the darkroom today, is just to be happy and have a good print. So that's it for today. Thanks for watching. Take care, and I'll see you next time.